The overhead light stays off. The cabin hums. A soft voice near 22C trembles in Mandarin. Please. Water. No one moves. Miles Carter sits in 22B. 19. Black. Noise in his chest. He hears the tones first, then the words. He turns and sees a small woman with silver hair. Wrinkled hands grip her seatbelt. Her lips look dry. She breathes fast. He leans in. Auntie, do you need water? He speaks Mandarin. Clear. Soft. Her eyes fill. Relief. You speak, she whispers. Thank you. I feel light in my head. Miles presses the call button. A flight attendant in a pressed Navy uniform arrives. Name tag, reads Whitmore. Smile looks tight. She needs water, Miles says. In translation, I speak Mandarin. Whitmore scans him up and down. We are fine, she says. Please sit back. We have it. The woman's hand clutches Miles's sleeve. Do not leave, she whispers in Mandarin. Miles stays. Whitmore brings a cup. She sets it down, then turns to Miles again. She has family. We will handle. He keeps his voice low. She asked me to stay. She is afraid. The woman tries to explain her meds in Mandarin. Whitmore looks blank. She glances at another attendant. A shrug passes between them. Miles speaks to the woman. Where are your pills? She points to a small pouch. He does not touch it. He asks her to show the label. She holds the bottle with shaking fingers. He reads the Chinese label. Blood pressure. Twice a day. Eat first. He translates to Whitmore. She takes this with food. She missed a dose. Whitmore frowns. You are not crew, she says. Please sit back. A man in 21A turns around. White hair. Loud voice. Let the staff work, he snaps. Kids think they know everything. Miles's jaw tightens. He thinks of a time in middle school when a teacher laughed at his tones. He kept studying anyway. He spoke with delivery drivers. He tutored exchange students. He earned trust at the takeout near his block. He worked. He smiles at the woman. Drink small sips, he says in Mandarin. She nods. She breathes slower. Color lifts back in her cheeks. At 4 minutes. Watch till the end to see what happens to Miles and Mrs. Lin and how power flips on this flight. Stay with this story. Subscribe to Black Voices so you do not miss the turn. These are life lessons. A baby cries 2 rows back. Seatbelts click. The plane tilts as it rides a bump. Oxygen masks do not drop, but nerves do. The loud man grumbles. Drama over water, he says. Mrs. Lin winces and presses her chest. Miles raises a hand. She says pain spreads across her chest. Whitmore stiffens. She picks up the phone. MedLink, she says to a colleague. Miles keeps his tone calm. Andy, where does it hurt? She points. He asks about numbness. He asks about fainting. She answers. He translates, fast and clean. A junior attendant whispers. Let him help. Whitmore's face hardens. We follow protocol, she says. A different voice arrives from the aisle. A younger attendant. Asian American. Name tag, reads Hannah. She looks at Mrs. Lin with care. She meets Miles's eyes and switches to Mandarin. Auntie, I speak a little. Thank you for helping. Mrs. Lin nods. This young man saved me. Hannah looks at Whitmore. He is helping. Whitmore lowers her voice. We do not know him. We avoid liability. The plane shudders again. A coffee cup skates an inch on a tray. Someone gasps. Miles keeps his voice steady for Mrs. Lin. Breathe with me. In. Out. Hannah opens the medical kit. She reads off the MedLink questions. Miles translates and adds context when words stick. He never touches a pill. He never raises his voice. The call goes smoother. The loud man leans in again. Why is he speaking that language here? Miles looks at him. Because she needs help. The man rolls his eyes. Show off. Hannah brings crackers and a small juice. Mrs. Lin eats a few bites. Her pulse slows. Sweat fades. Whitmore watches the row. Her mouth tightens more. She feels her control slip. She looks to the galley camera. She wants this on record. The captain speaks over the intercom. Turbulence for 10 minutes. Crew takes seats when safe. Hannah kneels and buckles Mrs. Lin's belt. Miles sits back. He keeps his voice near a whisper. You are safe, he says in Mandarin. I will stay within reach. Whitmore returns with a printed note. She holds it toward Miles. Passengers do not translate medical advice, it reads. Crew holds that role. I am not giving advice, Miles says. I'm translating questions. She lifts her chin. Sit back, or I write you up. Mrs. Lin's eyes fill again. She grips Miles's hand. Please, she says in Mandarin. Do not leave me. The plane dips. A tray jumps. A cry rises from the back. The loud man shouts, Great. Now the kid caused a scene. Hannah glares at him. Sir, sit back. A new face appears. A tall woman in a navy blazer. Regional supervisor, deadheading to the next base. She saw the last 2 minutes from row 5. She walks down the aisle and stops at 22B. What is the medical status? She asks. Hannah answers. She points to Miles. He bridged Mandarin for us. He kept the passenger calm. Whitmore adds a sharp line. He interfered. The supervisor looks at Mrs. Lin's face, then at Miles's hands, then at Whitmore. She says one thing. Keep the passengers stable. The plane hits a hard pocket. A suitcase shifts in the bin above 22C. The latch sticks. The door snaps open. The case tilts out, slow at first, then fast. It heads toward Mrs. Lin's head. Miles sees it. He reaches up and takes the weight on his forearm. He grunts and pushes the case back into the bin. Hannah slams the latch. The row breathes again. Whitmore reaches for the phone at the galley wall. She speaks into the handset with her back turned. The words do not reach the row, but the eyes do. She looks at Miles like he broke a rule. The supervisor watches all of this. She takes out a small notebook. She writes 3 lines. She slides into the empty seat in 22A and stays. 5 minutes later, the captain announces a diversion to the nearest airport for a medical check. The loud man points at Miles and says, Remove him too. The supervisor looks up. Decision time. Do not leave. Subscribe to Echoes of Black Struggles. Watch till the end to see who steps up and who steps back. Hannah, attendant. I saw his eyes. Calm. The kind you trust when hands shake. Mrs. Lin's chest slowed because he stayed. Whitmore, purser, private thought. Control matters in the air. A passenger who speaks over me strips that control. If I let one, I lose the rest. Seat 21A, loud man. He wanted attention. That's all. He spoke that language to look smart. I paid for quiet. Seat 23D, student with earbuds. I know tones. His Mandarin sounded right. He did not grandstand. He matched her breath. He kept the vibe steady. Row 5, regional supervisor, name tag tucked in her blazer. 2 things matter. Passenger safety, crew cohesion. I watch for bias too. My pen writes for both. Captain, over intercom. Diverting due to medical. Prepare the cabin. The descent begins. Trays lock. Belts click. Hannah passes with a small bag for Mrs. Lin. Warm towel, she says in Mandarin. Mrs. Lin smiles. You speak a little, she says. Hannah smiles back. He speaks a lot, she says, nodding at Miles. Whitmore returns. She looks at the loud man. He nods like they share a team. She looks at Miles. He does not look away. The supervisor stands and speaks low to Whitmore. Thank him. Keep him near the passenger until ground teams board. Whitmore's jaw tightens. Policy says crew translates. Policy says we provide access, the supervisor answers. Use the tool in front of you. Whitmore does not thank him. She turns to Mrs. Lin instead. She tries one line of English. You. Okay. Mrs. Lin nods because she wants peace. Miles translates the next question anyway. Vitals. Pain scale. History. He stays clear and brief. A seatmate across the aisle records a short clip on a phone. It shows a young black man speaking to an older Chinese woman with care. It also shows the purser scowling at both. The clip uploads to a group chat, then to a friend, then to a feed. The plane touches down on a gray runway. Medics roll in. They look to the crew for a report. Whitmore steps forward first. Passenger felt faint. 8. Rested. Stable. Hannah adds. Interpreter kept her calm. Helped with med link. Interpreter, a medic repeats. He looks at Miles. Thank you, he says. Miles nods. She needs follow-up for blood pressure, he says in Mandarin. Emergency room will check you. You'll be safe. Mrs. Lin squeezes his hand. You remind me of my grandson, she whispers. The loud man stands up against orders. Remove him, he says, pointing at Miles. He interfered. Two officers at the door glance over. The supervisor steps between them and the row. He helped. He stays, she says. Her voice does not rise. Whitmore exhales hard. She thinks of rules. She thinks of social feeds. She thinks of a base manager who likes her numbers but watches her tone. She feels the story slipping from her grip. Medics will Mrs. Lin out. She looks back for one last look at Miles. He presses both hands over his heart. She smiles and mouths a blessing in Mandarin. The clip catches that moment too. The officers step off with the medics. The cabin empties into the jet bridge. The supervisor taps Miles's shoulder. Wait a second, she says. I need a statement. He expects trouble. He meets her eyes anyway. Say your name, she says. Miles Carter. Language training. 4 years. High school and self-study. Community tutors. Restaurant shifts where Mandarin pays respect. She writes. She nods. You held that row steady, she says. Thank you. She turns to Whitmore. You will also give a statement, she says. Include your reasons for blocking help. Whitmore flushes. I followed protocol. Write that too, the supervisor says. In the terminal, a small knot of passengers waits near the gate. They scroll the clip. Comments stack. One reads, let the kid help. Another reads, why the face from the purser? A third reads, this is what community looks like. An airline PR manager sees the clip before the crew debrief ends. She calls the base director. The base director calls the supervisor on the spot. Find a passenger. Get the facts. We will respond in 1 hour. Keep watching. The next move sets the tone for every flight to come. Subscribe to Echoes of Black's struggles to see how Miles turns a moment into a path. A photo of Mrs. Lin and Miles appears on a local news site. No names. Only this caption. Student helps elder in flight diversion. The PR manager drafts 2 statements. One bland. One honest. She stares at both and thinks about trust. The supervisor gathers crew in a quiet room. She asks for clean lines. Hannah gives facts. Whitmore hedges. The supervisor listens to each word as if it weighs a brick. The base director phones the supervisor again. We need the young man's contact. We want to thank him in public. The supervisor says, thank him in private first. Miles sits near the gate with a paper cup. He watches planes taxi. He texts his mother. Landed. Helped an elder. All good. He avoids feeds. A small voice asks for him. It is Mrs. Lin's daughter on a medic's phone. You calm my mother, she says in accented English. We want to thank you. He answers in Mandarin. She is strong. Hannah finds Miles in the terminal. I have 5 minutes, she says. Thank you. He smiles. You spoke with heart, he says. She laughs. I speak kitchen Mandarin. You speak scholar Mandarin. The PR manager picks the honest statement. We failed to use language access fast enough. A passenger bridged the gap. We thank him. We will train better. She sends it to legal with a tight jaw. Whitmore sits alone. She reads comments under the clip. Some defend crew control. Most praise the student. One cuts deep. Control without care is fear. The supervisor knocks on the door. Your report reads thin, she says. Whitmore lifts her eyes. I kept protocol. The supervisor nods. Protocol without judgment harms. You missed a door that stood open. The base director now stands with the PR manager at a gate press huddle. They answer questions with plain words. No spin. No blame. We are grateful. We will train. We will improve. A scholarship foundation with a language access mission reaches out to Miles by email. Subject line reads, we saw your comm. He has not checked email yet. The loud man from 21 files a complaint against the airline for letting a passenger interfere. It hits a queue. The queue sends an auto reply. The reply reads, we are reviewing best practices. Thank you for the note. Mrs. Lin rests on a hospital bed. A nurse says her blood pressure sits high but stable. Her daughter holds her hand. She tells her mother about the video of a kind boy on the plane. Mrs. Lin smiles. Good heart. Good words, she says in Mandarin. Miles walks toward baggage claim. He thinks the day finally slows. It is not. The supervisor catches up to him near a coffee stand. Do you have a ride, she asks. Train, he says. Give me 5 more minutes. They sit. She does not offer excuses. Thank you, she says. Here's my card. If you agree, someone from training will call. We need a small fix first, then a larger one. What fix, he asks. 3 lines of Mandarin on every card. Water, food, seatbelt. Are you in pain? Start small. Build trust. He nods. I will help. The loud man walks past the coffee stand and snorts. Hero hour, he mutters. Miles looks at him. Sir, I hope you never sit alone with fear in your chest, he says. If you do, I hope someone speaks your language. The man stops. Something in his face drops. He says nothing. He keeps walking. The PR manager posts the honest statement. The clip slows in the feed. The tone shifts. The story turns from outrage to repair. A small DM lands in Miles's inbox from a community group. We run free Saturday classes for airline crew. Mandarin Basics. Join us. A new flight lifts off with a small card in the galley. 4 phrases in Chinese and Spanish. A tiny change. A true start. That night, the airline board chair calls the base director. Make this real, she says. Not PR. Give me a program by Monday. Monday sits 2 days away. The team looks at each other. They look at Miles's card. They call him. Do not stop here. Watch till the end. Subscribe to Echoes of Black struggles for the payoff and the lesson. El Monday arrives with work on paper and work in rooms. The base director forms a small team. Hannah takes a seat. The supervisor takes a seat. A trainer from another base joins by video. Miles walks in with a backpack and a notebook. He sits at the table like he belongs there. He does. They design fast and clean. Module 1. Access words on carts and lanyards. Module 2. How to ask for help from any bilingual passenger without dumping risk. Module 3. How to thank that help in the moment. Module 4. How to log the assist with respect. Miles adds one more piece. Teach tone, he says. Face soft. Hands open. People hear that first. Hannah nods. Teach how to say thank you in the language used, she says. The supervisor adds. Teach how to spot bias in ourselves. Then move past it toward care. They record 3 short videos with simple scenes. Row 22 again. A card again. A call button again. New faces. New path. They keep scripts short. They keep words plain. Mrs. Lin sends a clip from her hospital room. She reads 1 sentence into the camera in Mandarin. Thank you for learning our words, she says. It matters when fear sits in the chest. The video plays in the first training. Workers nod. Some wipe eyes. Whitmore sits in the back of the room. She signed up by choice. She listens to her own hard moment on screen. She does not defend it. She raises her hand at the end. I made fear worse, she says. I chose control over care. I will not repeat that choice. Silence follows. Not cold. Respectful. The supervisor says, thank you for saying that. The program rolls out across 3 hubs in 1 month. Small cards go in carts. Lanyards get printed with 2 phrases on each side. Crew practice with role plays that feel real. A pilot reads the training slides and says, about time. Miles gets a part-time role in the training team and a travel stipend. He pairs with a retired teacher to build a simple app with 5 screens. Chinese, Spanish, Arabic, Vietnamese, Tagalog. Tap, play, hear it right. Use it with respect. A local paper runs a short story with a photo of Miles and Hannah standing by a service cart with the new lanyards. The headline reads, Words That Land. The loud man from 21A watches the piece alone in his kitchen. He thinks of his father's accent in a hospital lobby years ago. He writes a note to the airline. It reads, I spoke in anger. Your team did, right, to keep the helper near the passenger. Thank you. He does not seek a reply. Mrs. Lin comes home with a new blood pressure plan. Her daughter hangs a picture on the wall. It shows her mother smiling on a sunny day in a park. A young man stands next to her. He wears a simple hoodie and a shy grin. Under the photo sits a line in Chinese. A good heart speaks many words. Weeks pass. The program spreads. Cabin crews now ask, who speaks this language? And eyes scan for help with respect, not suspicion. Passengers lift a hand and step in for a minute or 2. The moment ends with a thank you on the spot and a log note that honors the help. Miles returns to school in the fall. He picks up an extra language class. He still works a weekend shift at a small hotel to keep savings strong. He still rides the train, hood up, earbuds in. He answers DMs from kids who ask, "How did you learn?" He writes back, one tone at a time, one person at a time. The airline invites him to speak in internal town hall. He walks on stage in clean sneakers and a pressed shirt. He keeps it simple. "I learned Mandarin because Chinese elders in my neighborhood smiled when I tried," he says. "I kept going because respect builds trust. On that flight, I spoke because fear sat in a small body. The rest is work. You have the work. You will do it better than before." He steps back. Applause rises. Not loud. Strong. Moral reflection. Language is a bridge you build before the river rises. A young black student spoke to an elder in her words. A crew learned to spot bias and move toward care. An airline turned a clip into a promise. That is how dignity grows. Speak with respect. Ask for help. Thank the helper. Build a rule that outlives one flight. Watch till the end, then act. Subscribe to Echoes of Black Struggles for weekly stories on dignity, justice, and growth. Share this with someone who needs strength today. Comment with a time you answer a stranger in their language and what changed after. Turn on notifications. Your voice matters. Your actions teach the next person who needs them.